by the book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And today we are going to talk about Married at First Sight season 17, episodes, I guess, 1 through 3, because we're just getting back to you guys.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard, I'm sure you have, we have a newborn. Well, he's not so new anymore. He's 3 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of new.
He's still new.
But, yeah, that has been putting a monkey wrench into our videos. So we apologize, pardon our dust. We're going to do our best to keep up with all these episodes of Married at First Sight and do videos consistently. But just bear with us a little bit. Give us a little bit of grace. We're trying.
Yes.
So, anyway, we are doing a sidebar today about Michael and bride question mark.
Yeah.
I guess. And we've seen the previews, and it seems as though he's going to be matched with someone else. So that's great. But what we wanted to talk about as a sidebar, and what I guess I want to ask my husband, because we've had discussions about couples before who have, like, bad chemistry or a bad, like, kind of meeting at the beginning, is what do you think about ditching that whole process at the altar? You know, I have my opinion, and I feel like yours is going to differ from mine. So I want to hit you with the question first before I jump in with my disagreement. No.
All right. You all already know where I'm pretty much going to come from. If you signed up for something, you made a commitment to it. It's an 8-week process. You knew this going in. So put on your big girl panties, put on your big boy drawers, and go through your 8 your 8 week, right? Your 8-week commitment. Follow it through. How hard could it be for 8 weeks?
Hard.
You know.
Shoot.
You know, and so that's my thing. Why go through the whole process to go to the altar, knowing that you know what this person looks like or whatever, and then you just bail? You know. What's the point of that? I mean, because there could have been someone, I think they said they interviewed 1,000 people or whatever. You could have bailed out. You could have jumped out way before the altar part. And then they could have picked somebody else from the jump. And you couldn't have wasted somebody else's chance.
I agree. Now, I will agree on one part of that. And that is, if you knew this wasn't the process for you, period, then yeah, you shouldn't have wasted anybody's time going forward with the process. Here's the thing. I believe it's quite possible that she got down the aisle and saw him. I'm not knocking Michael. You know, he's not like your typical looking guy or anything like that. Yeah. But I don't think he's a bad looking guy or anything. But he could have just not been for her. So when she saw him, laid eyes on him, there's been numerous people throughout the process of Married at First Sight who got to that altar and saw the person who was standing across from them and didn't like what they saw. We clearly saw it with Alyssa and, was it Chris?
Yes.
I don't think it was a thing for Alexis and Justin. It clearly was a problem for Clint and Gina, was it? Yeah. There's more.
There's a whole lot more.
There's more. And I feel like if it were me, I wouldn't want to waste the time from that point forward. Not my time or his. Because I already know how I am. I would get drugged on social media and everything else. If I got to the aisle and I saw this man and I didn't like him, y'all would all be talking about me, okay? Because I would be like, no. From that point forward, everybody would be like, she's not trying. She's too rigid. She's this and she's that. And for my own sanity, I wouldn't want to continue. But also for his, because I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. Yeah. So if she saw Michael and she was like, this is not it. I'm not going to want to kiss him. I'm not certainly going to want to sleep with him. I'm not sure I want to share a bed with this man. And 8 weeks is a long time. Okay? It's a long time to endure something that you really don't want to be a part of.
Well, I do get some of what you're saying.
Okay.
You know, if you're going to be repulsed, I suppose, if
Yes,
when you
exactly
get down
that.
to the end of that. But for people who know thyself, okay, so you should know yourself enough to know that whatever level of, what word can I say, shallowness, yes, whatever your level of shallowness is, you should know that before you sign up for something somebody else is going to pick
But you
a
don't know
person
what you're
for
gonna
you.
get. You couldn't imagine. There's some people who I've seen on this show where I'm like, they didn't imagine that they were gonna meet this person. Take Orion, for example. I could not, if I were on the show and I had entrusted the experts to match me up with somebody and I looked like Lauren looks, you know, not to say it's especially great or bad or anything like that, just, ordinary, sort of, in a sense. Not in a negative way, babe. Like, don't make it worse. I mean, just like a regular girl.
Okay.
For me, you guys, please forgive me. I'm not trying to offend. If Orion's not your average guy, can we agree to that?
We can.
He's not your average looking guy. Like,
Yeah.
if you just pick 10 guys off the street, he's not one of them.
I mean,
he's not a typical masculine presenting man.
No.
Right?
Absolutely
So
not.
if I had gone through this process and the I almost called them the judges and the experts had matched me up with someone and I'm trusting them, I'm going to be attracted to this person and I get down the aisle and that's what I see. Maybe even with Michael too. But to me, Michael presents more masculine than Orion, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah.
But I get there.
We haven't seen him in the skirts that he says he wears, but go ahead.
Even still, I'm pretty sure he could be standing there in a kilt and I would be like, this is, I'm going to go with Michael. Anyway, yeah, you see somebody like Orion or just somebody who's wholly not what you're expecting. I don't want to like drag Orion for no reason. I'm just saying, if you see somebody who is really not at all what you anticipated, not that they had to be 6'4" and, a certain type of haircut and a certain body build and this and that. No, we're not talking about having like every box checked. I'm just saying no boxes are checked. And you're like, wow, I am not going to do this. I'm just not going to do it. I can't. I already know. I know now. I can see into the future. And I know in 8 weeks I'm going to say no. Like, I don't think you should waste anybody's time. I have no problem with what that bride did.
Okay.
If she was going to have him out here like Chris with Alyssa, why do it?
Okay. All right. Well, of course, if she took a little bit of a journey inwardly, and she probably said, I'm probably going to treat this guy bad. So let's just minimize some of the damage that I'm probably going to do to this guy.
Yeah.
Then yes, all right. I will go ahead and say yes, she did the right thing in that case. If she wasn't going to be able to actually go through the process,
if it was going to be Alyssa and Chris,
then Chris,
we would rather this, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But I still say, man, you sign up for something like this, man. You knew what you potentially could have gotten at the end of that aisle. Yeah. If you a woman and you expecting a whole man at the end of the aisle, and you walk down that aisle and here's Orion, he's kind of man-ish, but
yeah, not your flavor, not your flavor at all.
Like, yeah, I do understand, but that's why the experts shouldn't be doing some of these matches if they do.
They shouldn't. I'm curious. I'm hoping that at some point during the season or after the season, maybe we can hear from that bride and maybe she can explain what it was. I feel like she's probably going to be too politically correct to say if she just looked at him, took one look at him and said, I'm not going to be able to do this. But maybe she will. Maybe she, I don't know. But I'm not mad. And I want to know from you guys if you feel like it's unacceptable to walk away at the altar. I mean, I feel like it's not a great thing to have happen for sure, but it's not the worst. I feel like the worst is that Alyssa Chris scenario.
I got you.
You know,
I got you.
even with Clint, was it Clint and Gina?
Yes.
Last season.
They seemed like they were okay at the altar though. It was on the honeymoon when they began
Well,
to
I
break
mean,
down.
I'm pretty sure she knew he had ginger features when, she saw him. So if she truly was unattracted to that, then I just kind of feel like, yeah, I get it. If this wasn't going to be because what we watched with them last season was two people who just weren't inclined to be with each other at all. They just went through the process. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, because they.
In terms of chemistry, there's no chemistry between them the whole time.
Yeah.
So what were they really doing? They were just, getting free trips and excursions or whatever.
Yeah, and she was getting free meals because he was cooking. So that was about it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I know my husband, it should be me who's saying, you signed a contract. But I don't feel like that. I feel like, hey, get out. There's an exit clause there somewhere. And if you know that you're not going to be in this process with your heart in it, trying to get to yes at decision day, just go ahead and clock out.
Okay, but before we go, I got to ask my lawyer wife, potentially from a contract standpoint, this lady that left marriage, well, she didn't get married, so, but contract-wise, with Married at First Sight, how binding could the contract be as far as them pursuing her or suing her? Because obviously they're not showing any part of her face, or they didn't show any of her family or anything like that. So it's almost like she doesn't exist with them at this particular point. So do you think she's going to be facing some type of legal ramifications for not going through with the potential contract that she probably signed?
I don't think so.
You don't think
so? Mean, you can't force someone to be married. Right? Like, you can't be like, okay, sign on the dotted line. You have to get married and stay married for X amount of time. That sounds like an unenforceable contract to me.
Okay.
Now, they could sign on to be filmed. That sounds like an enforceable contract. Signing rights in terms of, like, showing their face or whatever the case may be. And she might have bargained out of that portion of the agreement because quite obviously they're not showing her face or her family's face, so they're not identifying her at this point. I do believe that the people on Married at First Sight are compensated. So if there was an agreement obviously to pay her for her participation for X amount of weeks, then I'm sure she didn't get the money, but beyond that, suing her or, trying to enforce a contract, I can't really see it going anywhere.
Okay. All right, cool.
So.
All right, thank you. I was curious.
All right, guys. Well, let us know what you think about Michael. I'm glad he's getting another shot. He seems like a really nice guy. Yeah. So I'm curious to see.
It's strange, but nice.
If the second runner-up is an awful match, because if the first match was that bad, how good could the second runner-up be?
If it was me, when they approached me, I would have told them, hell no.
They probably not telling her you the second runner-up, right? I don't know. I wouldn't want to hear that either.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, drop your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.